All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. If you are watching this right now, chances are this is the recap. We have been doing this every Thursday night so far of the year and doing a live watch list. And doing a live watch list here. Oh my gosh, I completely butchered it there, but point is, if you're used to the normal watch list, this one is going to be a little bit different. We got a live audience here available today, so we're going to do a lot of Q&A, and I'm sure we will be able to explore a lot of these topics more in depth, so bear with me. If you are used to watching the normal watch list, I may get a little bit random here and there interacting with the chat, but we got to talk about the market, talk about what happened today in the PCE. It was a gap down in the morning, then PCE came out, we rocketed up, sold off, only to end the day on one of the best days, or the best last days of February ever, believe it or not. So it was a wild day, and quite simply, it was a result of the PCE. The PCE came in line, and given that everybody was expecting a hot print, even Nick Timmerhouse just a couple of weeks ago, right after the CPI data, he was tweeting about that. Well, that didn't show up. In line was the new beat, and the market rallied off of it, and now tomorrow we start March. So Chad, we got a lot to talk about. I got a little bit of a breakdown. We already talked about what happened today. We're going to go over plays. We potentially have another 1,000%er on our hands. We did it again, even though we took 1 week off. And then we have to talk about the golden path. And welcome to March. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I need from you, a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed. And if you do not know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. You see right there? Oh, there it is, the stock market live. Boom, you come here, every single trading day is live. Like, literally, you go through every single day, every earnings, even after the bell. We're staying there for earnings, man. So it's a good time. Hopefully we see you there. But now, before we get into any of it, oh, I didn't look over. So I could get that out there, you know. What's up, baby? What's up, baby? How you doing, Chadadonia? We got the Chad. What's going on, HF? Good evening, Jay Samuels. Good evening, Evan, Nathan, yee, baby, Johnny B, Devlin, Matthew, Yashua, Screw College, Visual, baby, Caballero, Amorfati Trav, baby, Karina, Dago, Rewind, Dan Kingsley, Lanice, Matthew Armin, Rewind, Dev the Lurker, Colt 45. I'm going to be like, no, Donald Gage, Miguel Horda. What's going on, guys? Yeah, we are live, baby. It's a live watch list. I don't know. Have you guys been liking this? I don't know why we've made a habit. My Thursdays have been getting a little busy every day this year, so I've been kind of doing it like this. That's why I'm like, wait a minute, though. It's good to see you guys live, but y'all been liking it? Are you guys ready for another live watch list? We have a lot to talk about. Again, a little bit about what happened today. We got to talk about the golden path, man. I don't know. So we might have a lot of questions today, baby. San Diego in the house. Tell them. What's up? 858-619-760. Man, let's go. I dig the live watch list. You like it? Yalla, let's go. All right, baby. More like the hype list. Oh, tell them. Tell them, baby. I got turned up on the evening, baby. It's beautiful. Yeah, you clicked right on time, so make sure you right on time. Click the like button as well. Get all situated. Everybody get your pen and pad. If you have any questions, I'm going to be here live to answer them, so let's make the most of this. So, Chadadonia, right off the bat, like I told you, today was all about the PCE. That was the first thing that moved us, and like we talked about, you are going to want to be looking ahead for next week. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but let's talk a little about March. So tomorrow now, this will be the first trading day of the month. Somebody on the Instagram before we went live, they said it. They say, beware the Ides of March. That's what we had to deal with last March, but seasonality, believe it or not, March is actually a good month. A lot of people get hung up on this. They're like, wait, March is usually negative, but if you actually go and look at the S&P, I believe the last time we had a negative March was in 2020, and the only other time before that was 2018. So lately, we have been off to a really green March. 2021, 2022, 2023, every single March has been up at least 3%, almost 3.5%. So that's the first place that we're starting with. But the thing about today, here's the thing, seasonality is not off to a bad start or off to a good start right now. Literally, the seasonality of February, usually February is negative. That did not happen this time around. The last 2 weeks of February, usually negative. That did not happen this time around. So we'll see how much weight ends up getting held by the seasonality there with March. But keep that in mind. And the final fact of today, today was the best last day of the month of February in the last 24 years. So to end February, you barely go up like this, and we ended up today 0.5% and then 1% on the NASDAQ. So like we talked about yesterday, the fortunate, unfortunate part is that today there was a lot of attention. It did cause a big move. It didn't really change rate cut odds or give people a different vibe. And this is where we got to talk about the golden path, because now we are looking ahead for the data next week. Jobs report is going to be on Friday. JOLTS jobs opening on Tuesday. We're pretty much going to start from there. Even Powell next week. We are waiting for the next factors. But in the meantime, we continue to ride the golden path. And now this is one of the big things I want to talk about, because we brought this up yesterday. Somebody asked me about this today, and we talked about it. If you guys don't notice so far this year, it's like we get into these little pockets of, oh my gosh, bad news, or maybe things are turning, and then we brush it off, or we encounter good news, forget about it, and then we're like, wait a minute, we anticipate news, oh man, it's bad, and then we forget about it. And we've done that about like 6 or 7 times already to start the year, and then all the while we just keep going up higher and higher. This is a bull market. You're in one of the best rallies ever. Well, Austin Goolsbee, he's talking about the economy and this soft landing. He calls it the golden path. Well, I kind of agree with him to a degree, but I want you to see this as this pretty much being the golden path of the stock market. Are you guys with me? This is important because as we move forward now, like literally you're seeing every one of these stop and go weeks. We're still riding off of NVIDIA earnings. Now this week, PCE, we're ending it off on a decent note. Next week is going to be jobs. March is going to be filled with data. And this is where I'm saying now, I hope you guys are getting a lot more patient. I hope you understand this golden path analogy, because it seems like now without any earnings on the way, all that's going to matter is the SEP in March and whether or not we get an external shock. So this is kind of what Austin Goolsbee's been saying, and my view, I wouldn't want to say it shifted today, but the way I am looking at it, I'm very much agreeing with what they're saying. And after going through a couple of these weeks in a row with the data being highly anticipated, huge event risk, and then we get it, and then you quickly brush it off and then forget whatever, and then go back to responding very short term with the general narrative staying the same. I think that is the golden path. The golden path, and the way I'm breaking it down, and this is why I think you should get a lot more patient moving forward here. We'll see what March brings. February, we don't even have seasonality as a guide since it didn't work last month or this month. So we got to kind of watch how things are playing out here. But it's like you really got to start getting patient, because as long as policy is not shifting, if the Fed is not indicating higher or lower rates through the SEP, if there is no external shocks, defaults, problems in China, like actual things that are creating problems, getting in the way, or causing inflation, it just seems like everything is lagged, and I think the Fed is aware of it. And even then, the outline for the market right now is the market is firmly set up right now to not respond unless something big actually changes. So I hope you guys are going to get a lot more patient. Like I'm saying, we still have data, but like every single day, like this is the main conclusion. as weird as it may sound, the market's going to be crackheads about it. Everyone's going to focus on it. We're going to talk about it probably every single day, every single week. But the economic data, I don't think it is going to have that much weight this year. Like I told you guys from the get-go, I think this year is all about the policy shift and then the election. But I don't think the data, the economic data, even down to CPI and all of this, I don't think it is going to affect us too much. I believe the expectation is that there's a huge delay, and that delay lets people kind of generally have an idea of how it's going to play out. And that's why I'm saying until we actually get a policy shift or an external shock, I think we are going to ride this golden path, and the market is going to be ultimately resilient. So, Chattadonia, I hope you're ready for it, but we definitely got a lot out of today. At least this is everything I just shared with you. This is what I got out of the day, and I'm excited to move forward. We will see what March brings, how the market moves without earnings, what Powell and everybody else brings. But now, let us get into the plays. So, before I get into the plays, my bad. I don't want to get you too high. We got plays, but Chattadonia, any questions about what we just talked about? Any questions about those keys? Are you there? We got a lot of plays. We got a lot of plays to go. We actually didn't make any today, and we just had a nice 1-for-1 today. Today was beautiful. Today was as perfect as you can make it, man. I saw NYCB after hours. They said like material weakness is what they identify, but we'll tell anything about the keys, though. About what happened today, the PCE, about moving forward, about the golden path, about the data next week, anything along those lines. China PMI, I'm not too concerned literally until they like actually collapse or not, but I kind of think they are collapsed. But their data, honestly, I would watch the Chinese currency. Maybe once they eventually lose control of that, that'll be the sign China has like officially been deaded. So sideways calendar spreads moving forward. I mean, I'm not doing that, but it might be a strategy you could go about. Like, again, the thing is the range. We don't know when the shocks or anything will happen, but, I mean, you generally have a good idea of where the market is going to go or how it's going to behave until anything changes or once you get confirmation from the Fed. I do think after March meeting in the next couple of weeks here, after Powell, I think that's going to be easy money to just go off of whatever the dot plot says in position with the bonds and everything else. Higher for longer, we're going to run and probably continue to run all year. We might be. I mean, if this all continues, yes. I think the market can keep running as long as rates stay high and the data does not upset. And like I'm saying, if Powell doesn't upset and the SEP doesn't scare the market off, which again, the market is in line. So pretty much as long as we stick to 3 rate cuts this year, as long as they don't back off of that, then the market could go up. The only way I see the market coming down from this golden path or where you get a little bit more of a hiccup, maybe we'll have to put this to the test. It would be if all of a sudden the dot plot shows only 2 rate cuts instead of 3. And hopefully that makes sense because then everybody be like, oh, shit, maybe higher for longer. Then it'll be higher for longer and with an anticipation of less rate cuts. So that's the way I would break it down. FXY still the play of the year? I still think so. Honestly, we talked about it a little bit the other day, but I have kept an eye on it. It is about that time, again, around March, April here now. It is getting quite heated there in Yenland, and in a weird way, I do think people are kind of sleeping on it. But yes, acronym for SEP, Summary of Economic Projections. It's released every 3 months with the FOMC. ISM tomorrow. So, yeah, we have ISM, consumer sentiment. Like I'm saying, it's not like the data is not important. I think it'll give you knee-jerk reactions and it'll move some things around. But, like, this broader strength, momentum, every single day. Well, what about this? What about that? Layoffs, this, the economy. Oh, my gosh. It's just like, dude, until we get a change on the SCP or an external shock, I mean, I don't think the data, and I think the Fed knows this. I think they know the data is all going to just stay within a very tight range, given it's all year-over-year comparisons, and they have kept things stable. So, and then again, I think there's a huge delay. So any of the other big shocks, like you're not really seeing it all the way through. Do we need to pull back, and if so, how much? I mean, depends how you look at it. I mean, you could pull back or you could go slow. I mean, right? What if we just start moving at a much slower pace, have a decent pullback, and then move down slow, move up slow, and kind of just put in the air brakes on? What else we got? Any other questions about that? Well, I think the market will move a little bit, but it might be off to its own beginning of the month type B, and then responding to just broader factors of how we end up feeling at the end of the week. I do think data will contribute, though. But I think things like the dollar and other stuff might get in the way. And then we'll even see that crypto sentiment. Again, it kind of chilled out, even though I think it was green today, right? And pricing too. Standard deviations, what's it based off of? It's based off of the current price. So that's why I like to do it like right before close, because then it's based off of the current price, literally right before they report. Should we be buying Bill? You can. We talked about that earlier today. It's all up to you, depending on, I think our conclusion was today, if you have more than 20% cash, I wouldn't be buying more Bill. I don't think you need to be holding more than 20% in the long term. But well, you guys keep getting me. I think I got mad ADD tonight. I'm answering all sorts of questions right now. Anything about the keys? Anything about the keys? No? About anything today, tomorrow? You got anything? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The PCE came in line. And in line is the new beat. So while a lot of people were kind of confused why when PCE was like in line, I think even slightly higher on one metric, but borderline just in line, it went up because everybody was expecting a hotter print. We even talked about this yesterday on the watch list. But yes. All right, Chatadonia. Let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I don't know if we did that many plays actually today. We did a couple. I think we did like Celsius and a few others. Which one was that? Yeah, it was Celsius. What's that other one? Celsius, NTAP. Hold on. It just fucking messed up on me. But we did Celsius, NTAP, and then we made a, what's it called, trade? The trade on CRM. That's the one. But as far as like earnings, though, I guess the good news, and I'll start with play number one. Oh, it wasn't on here? As far as play number one, the first one was NTAP. And now this was the play that I ended up making. What's it called? We made this play today, like right before close, and then this was the only earnings play that we made on the day. I was going to get the Dell put. That's the one I canceled. I'm glad I didn't, because then that was the only one that was cheap. But Dell ended up ripping, and I think there was one more after the bell. But NTAP, we grabbed the $100 call for 65 cents. So I ended up spending a little bit of money on that, but they had a good report. We're $2 in the money. Hopefully this is going to be worth at least $200, so that should be like 500%, but we'll see what happens with this. But just watch for all of these post-earnings, because now that leads to play number two, Celsius. So, I mean, all of these, honestly, every single play today, these are all the plays that I made, but dude, Celsius today, this one was a great earnings continuation play, and watch what it does around $100 tomorrow, because this thing used to move pretty crazy pre-split. But with like Celsius and NTAP, what I'm saying here is watch out for them tomorrow, because if NTAP, if it does its little sell-off, again, who was the other one? I forgot. Dell. They had a very, very good earnings, man. They shot up this one. This was a 2 standard deviation hit, 20%. These will be good for post-earnings, but once again, even NTAP, even looking at Dell, man, like I've told you guys, regardless of whatever your strategy is. Oh, Zscaler, there it is. That's the other one. But, like, dude, whatever your strategy is, I'm telling you, this info and this knowledge of knowing how to price in these options and where they're going to go to, it's been very, very accurate. Now, some instances, if they don't surprise, they don't do much, but even Zscaler, I think this one tomorrow now, this one will be a good one off of the bounce. And like I said, I have Celsius, and this is what I want you guys to see with Celsius. this post-earnings continuation, you might get it on NTAP tomorrow. You might get it on Zscaler, but where is the contract? But this was the play that I made in the morning, and you could see, like I said, y'all always talk about top tick Josh, but bottom tick Josh struck this morning. If you were there live, you saw it, but I grabbed the $90 March 15th calls. These were the ones 2 weeks out, and I grabbed these for 20 cents. So cheaper, and the crazy part, if you guys remember, I had my, I had the pre-earnings play. We had the 85 calls. These plays are actually still up, so you would have made even more money on those. But this play, I grabbed it in the morning at 20 cents. It shot up there to 50 or 60 cents, came down, and then ran up there to $1. It was like 500 to 700% today. But this is what I want you to see, because someone was like, why did you buy this play? Like, what made you want it? It was because if you go and look at Celsius, let me put up the actual stock. They had a good earnings, but the bar was just high. It's not like Celsius did bad, but they dropped 5% in the morning. They were into the lows, and then right at open, they just started rocketing up. So by the time the market was open, if I go take off extended hours, you'll see it here. I was buying it. They were at $67. The stock was still like red or up by 1 after being down by 5%. So all of the options got a premium crush, and we talked about this. I'll show you on another play, and I was like, hey, well, shit, if they're coming up here after selling off 5%, their earnings were good, it was just a high bar, it might find a way to continue up. So I went along with that play, and that's what I'm saying. Zscaler tomorrow, they had a good earnings. Their bar was just high. They're down 5% today. Let's see where they go from there, too. Yeah, and it got halted. It got halted midday, but that play was crazy. It was a great pickup. Both the pre-earnings and the post-earnings hit on Celsius, so we made money, realized it on the pre-earnings, 200%. Got 500% today on that one. Absolutely beautiful, but that is play number 2. And then play number 3 now. This is another play that I made today, but I like this one over the next week or two. Do not sleep on this one. I hate saying that sometimes, but this one could be slept on easy, and it is CRM. And these contracts, they move great, and by great, I mean when the stock moves, they really gain value, and the stock moves so much, sometimes crazy out of the money contracts, they can go up a shit ton, and that's why I really like them. But the spreads are wide, and if the stock doesn't move or it goes down, you could get clapped on them fairly easy as well, right? But that being said, I think CRM has a lot of potential. The post-earnings, this was the best, and this is what I keep in mind. There was a lot of other earnings here today, but the post-earnings today, like I'm saying, keep in mind for tomorrow is going to be like one of our last days, but some of these names were good, and like I'm saying, there was like Dell, Zscaler, who else? There was Sound and a bunch of others, but there was a lot of good names today, but like, dude, these contracts got killed after their earnings. So CRM, this was one I was saying, we wanted to play it for earnings, but I was telling everybody it's pricing in a lot. You may want to just wait till afterwards, and any of the plays where we know the company could move, and once we get the data, well, go look at the earnings now, because I got to play 2 standard deviations. I grabbed one of the March 345 calls. I spent 30 cents on this one. Went up 30, 40%. I think it was up 50 at one point. But the idea with this was that day before earnings, same call was going for $240. So got the IV crush, and now obviously this contract still has a low probability of hitting, so still keeping it small. But the point I'm saying here is just watch CRM over the next couple of weeks. It could deceptively move. They're getting to all-time high. This is one of those big Silicon Valley names. I would definitely watch out of it. Like I'm saying, it could be very interesting over the next couple of weeks. So there was that. As far as everything else, I'm still in my Vanny. We're going to hold out the end tap. I don't think I did anything else there. Yeah, I didn't do anything. Still in the Weight Watchers. Couple of bad share plays this week. I did a rollover on my ZB, and I think that's it. Any questions? Those are all the plays. That's it. You just got to pray hard for NTAP tomorrow. That's all you got to do. Vanny forever. I think Vanny's going to be fun. I keep having bad thoughts, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, should I put 10,000 shares? I'm not going to lie. Before I saw Vanny's chart the other day, or right before I went live on this, and I was like, man, it moves 20% in a day. If I just put $100,000 on it, we could either make or lose 20,000 because it moves that in 10 minutes. I don't know. NTAP, you guys should know the plan. Literally NTAP, it's either gonna rip tomorrow and go another $5 more in the money, or right at open, it's gonna sell off. I kind of want to hold it. I think there is some upside, but lately I have been screwed over. But the ones that do run, I mean, we might be able to make even double at some point. So I don't know. Another future play. I don't know, man. I was in the mood last time. I made like what, $1,200 last time, but that was lucky. You never know. You never know. I'm down to bet big. Well, I don't know, man. It may just be a quick little trade. I don't know. I don't know. It's better than Outlook. Nah, Outlook gonna come back. Honestly, I claim it. I really think Outlook is gonna hit. Call me an optimist, baby. I don't know, but I do have a problem with these biotechs. I love them. You're thinking about Meta along the lines this time? Kind of with CRM. CRM's just crazy, though, if that's what you're referring to. Would you let me put together statistics on the ghetto standard deviation plays? Yeah, bro. Send them over. I'm making the video on that, too. I got a little document so far. HPQ. I haven't really checked them out. I'm not, like, the biggest fan of them. We played Okta. We played VKTX. We were playing VKTX since it was like $6 or something. 6 or like 14, and then 14 and like 20. Yeah, long term's killing it. I was just looking at them, man. The combined long terms are damn loving it, man. I'm very excited. Airbnb, that had a good day. I'm glad to see they have been outperforming travel lately. So that's good. Do I have Gorilla Trades? Was that? Nah. I think it's better to invest in S&P 100 or the 500. Can't go wrong with the S&P 500. 100 might give you a little bit more growth, though, I believe. Wolf Speed, I think they can move a lot, but I don't know about adding them to the long term. But I think a lot of people play that. It's a chip growth play. Airbnb consensus is much better. It is. It's gotten a lot better. I mean, even then, the fact that they're even holding up in like this last earnings, I mean, they're just constantly growing a lot of money. I mean, it's been multiple billions of dollars every quarter. At the very least, they've grown into that valuation. So, I mean, last time they were trading at these prices, I mean, they're making a lot more money, and they got a lot more value now. No stop loss. Yeah, man. You don't need a stop loss on the long term. Never. On Chin. I like China, man. I think China's just a risk. That's all. I think China is one of those external shocks, and like China is either going to, like, it could go dramatically lower, or there's not going to last. China is going to be like crypto in a weird way, where like there's like Bitcoin and Ethereum in China, like Alibaba type beat, and then some might fail really, really bad, but other than that, the upside is tremendous. But I do like Alibaba a lot. MPW gonna keep running? I don't know. I don't know, man. I need to go pray or something. I was looking at the law. I got another dirty thought. I'm sorry. I should have gave viewer discretion is advised on this. I should have told you guys. My bad. I was looking at it. I was like, man, one average down on MPW in the long term would go a long way. And I was like, but then again, also, just if I have to deal with anything else on that, I'm like soaking another $3,000 on Pfizer. Hedge up cash on the long term or keep buying. It all depends what your setup is. I mean, right now, I do like the value plays. So I do think right now cash is very appealing at 5%, and I was much more attracted to it last year. But at this point, I do think you could have a little bit of cash, but I would honestly go toward just increasing yield. So that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to get my value up. As long as I could get a higher dividend than cash with potential for upside on the equity, I'm throwing my money out at all of that. Seasonality, right? For real. That's why March is going to be interesting, because March is usually good, but then if we're not following seasonality, do we beware the Ides of March? The reverse repo market, I feel like that's going to be a main focus here in a couple months as we get into quantitative tightening. I really think it'll be a huge factor. So I think it's running out of time. Yield max? No, I would not, unfortunately. I like owning the companies. Again, nothing wrong with a little ownership, and then you get the dividend, reinvest. But I see the appeal with some of those. But I've heard good things, I've heard bad things, but I do prefer like equity ownership. I like the benefits and the perks more. I love you. Gotta go, man. Have a good night's sleep, baby. Have a good night rest, baby. Have a good night rest. We might see regional banks tomorrow again. NYCB. We'll see how that shakes things up. And then again, too, watch what the bonds do. So every time, or last time at the very least, we had any of that shake up there with NYCB bonds, and the market got a bid too. The divvy for MPW, I have no idea. December 6th. So theirs is probably coming up. Should we do it? Should we flip the coin? But yeah, I was looking at the long term though. I'm very, very happy with the long term. Somebody even said it. I hope it does alleviate FOMO in the market, man, because it's crazy. I mean, you have a long term, no matter what's happening, the weird days, little by little. But I hope you guys have been riding out with it, because, dude, it's just slowly adding up. You're getting these amounts, even if the market continues to ride the golden path. If no matter what happens, bro, it's like, dude, it's very good to have. I'm even shocked, like little by little, man. Both accounts are getting pretty big. So we're gonna see. MPW. Yeah, should we flip the coin? But then again, otherwise I like Pfizer. Am I foolish to not touch my long term when it's booming? I don't think so. I mean, unless you have something don't be a fool and have a plan. You know what I'm saying? So like if you want to do something, like how can you take that money from the long term and grow it, and not with another stock? Can you invest into another outside business? Can you buy something that will produce you income? Can you buy a property? Like if you have a good plan with it, I'm all about it. But usually, I mean, let me ask you this: how many times, if you bought NVIDIA at $80, how many times would you have thought it went up too much this year? Or even last year? So it's certain things like that where, again, you want to let your riders run sometimes. If you don't have a plan with the long term, I mean, again, if your plan is 10 years, you let it do its thing, and then you can balance with any of the new capital. And then now you could go buy a lot of dividends. Let that growth do its thing. If it comes down, at least you bought a bunch of dividends. Those will come back up and get you a return. And then if it stays up, then now you may be able to even exponentially grow a much larger position. Could stocks go up and real estate go down at the same time? Yeah, it hasn't really happened lately, but yeah, definitely possible. Balance the rips, baby. I love it. Yeah, just never sell. Again, if that's your plan, when you really, that's what, we were talking about it today, and that's even with like a lot of my plan and what I'm buying here, when I'm thinking even dividends and all of it, just like I'm thinking 10 years out on everything. So just don't ever forget that. That's why you put it in there. So, in the short run, you're watching it, but like, dude, who knows where things will be in 10 years? That's why I'm like, damn, bro, the long term, we're already stacking. All of those are growing. I'm like, man, a couple more years and little by little. And then now we're just working off such a bigger base. Like, it's actually insane. 2030, baby. Talk to me in 2030. But what else we got, man? No snow in the long term? No? Any other question? My day's been good, bro. Chilling. A little bit of work here and there. Actually, a decent amount. So, chilling. I'm going to get some dinner with the family here tonight, too. So, it's good. And then that's it, man. I'm just chilling, bro. Just chilling. Thoughts on sound. Maybe if it, like, really drops. But I held that thing for a while. I'm kind of over it. I think Lunar, fun stock to trade. It's good. I think it's going to have a lot of pops and drops with all the space hype, but I want to own it in the long term. 2K after this? Nah, dinner with the fam. I would like a game of 2K though. That'd be nice. The pup is good. He's chilling. He's just living life. Weekend plans. Oh, we'll talk about it on Friday, baby. It's Friday Junior. Oh man, shout out, man. You say I'm dedicated. Thank you, man. God bless you. Hey man, you gotta be dedicated to notice it. So, hey man, God bless you. Yeah, IEP. Oh, you went for it. You went for the Carl Icon. That thing's always just confused me. I've always been like, nah, man. There's Carl. I don't know what Carl's doing. I didn't play Dell. I was gonna buy a put. Thank God I didn't. But those would have hit. Literally 2 standard deviation. Those were a little bit more expensive. Long-term plays, Pfizer, MO, Alibaba, PayPal, or MPW. How much capital gains and taxes fees? Depends on your tax bracket. Consult with a tax professional. In the long term, it should be nothing because we don't sell anything. Ta-da. You do get taxed on your dividends, though. You're reading the Bible more or praying more? Both. I mean, I've been definitely trying to read the Bible more after that one philo, but definitely both, man. And I'm thankful for it, too, man. Thankful for the book. Long term on NTAP? Nah. They're about to break out all-time highs. That's why it's going to be interesting how this option plays out for him tomorrow. Apple I like, but I'm very shocked Apple has been maintaining out of any of the earnings. I mean, Apple's earnings just wasn't that good. They haven't had a good earnings in a while, and like they're still like mad elevated. I guess they're back to like 2022 highs, but they were just at all-time highs, and it's kind of surprising. But I mean, they got a good base. Apple's always going to be Apple, but I'm definitely a little skeptical. Another Bible investing video. How's it going, man? My favorite book, baby. I did not see the volume today on Apple. There was a lot of the crazy volume there at the close because the end of the month rebalance. You have Google in the long term. My OG one, not any of the YouTube accounts. And on the YouTube accounts, the things we bought off the dip was Netflix and Meta. And then JP Morgan, I think, and then Uber. Those are like the big names that we went away with. Would you lease right now or just cash buy for a property? I mean, it all just depends. You know, I think every situation is very, it all depends on what you want to do, what you're willing to do. Because like right now, I mean, most leases are cheaper than buying, as it should be. But like, you could go rent if it's cheap, you have money for a down payment, go rent a house, and then go buy a cheap house in another state and turn it into a rental, or another city and call it a day. So it just all depends on your situation. But right now it is cheaper to buy, which is the incentive. But all depends on what your goals are, your financial goals. Have I ever been to an annual shareholder meeting? No, I have not. I've listened in like we all do. Oh my gosh, Brian, don't give up on Mara. Brian. Oh, he's even here, baby. Yo, he's everywhere. I'm down like $600, bro. You know that? I'm getting fucking murked. Okay? I'm down $622 on Mara. You know, that's what I get. I did it for Brian, though. It was good to see you, Brian. I still love you. Don't worry. Don't worry. I still love you, man. It happens. It happens. Damn, that's all cash, too? They don't even let you get... It's crazy. CO sell-offs. I mean, they've been doing it. But then again, I mean, there's a lot of people prudently taking out a lot at the highs. I mean, last time you were at these highs, it made sense. If you did it at 2022, even if it goes up a little bit more, if it comes down, you might regret selling on certain things. Tax sale. All right. If you want to buy houses, how much should you put down? Preferably as little as possible, but lately with high interest rates, You just got to balance it out. It all depends. But I like little down as possible. That's kind of always been my philosophy from day one. That's how you make some good use of leverage there. November, long term 21 at all time highs. Sold for my first house. Now just hit all time highs. And I have the house. Dude, let's go, baby. That's how it should be, man. And, you set those up. So I'm saying, man, over time it just builds up. But it really gives you a nice basis of assets and high quality assets that, as time goes on, they grow with you. And they may even grow more. It's amazing. I'm buying an abandoned property. I mean, just do your due diligence. Make sure the house isn't condemned. If it is, find out why. You know what I'm saying? And go through, see the next of kin who owns it. All of that good stuff. And say the house is $250. How much should I put down? Everyone I know tells me 20. I mean, 20% will save you the mortgage insurance, but it depends. Are you trying to live in it? Are you trying to rent it? Are you trying to flip it? Right? Because, changing the payment around based on the down payment, that could be some of the incentive there. But I would go with 10%, 25 grand on 250. I think 10% is a fair amount. Like I'm saying, but then there's FHA. You could get houses for 3%. There's certain business loans at 0, USDA loans 105%. They'll give you 0 down and pay closing costs. VA loan if you're in the military. So there's a lot of ways to get loans right now, and even like very low down. So I'd prefer lower than not. Well, mortgage insurance depends on if you put 20% down or not. It's usually a couple $100s a month. You think the rate cuts will have the value of home drops? I think it might benefit a little bit off a rate cut, but I do think real estate should just generally just trend upwards because of supply, and then I think it's going to really like move off of the Fed after employment moves. Really showed you what's possible with the Fed. Hey, man, way to execute, bro. So I'm saying, man, God is good, man. So that's a amen. That's a praise. Vanny, we're still holding. You can't rent FHA properties unless it's a multi-unit. So, like, if you bought a 4-unit on FHA, you could rent out the other units. Email me, all right? Email me. We'll talk about it tomorrow on stream. I won't share it all. I'll keep it on the low. Keep it on the low. Catch with FHA is that there's limited restrictions. So, like, in the amount, there's a limit on how much you can borrow, and then the house has to get approved for it. So they won't let you just FHA on any old house. Like, if the house needs, like, a lot of repairs, you can't get an FHA loan. And you have to live in it. I'll watch when it's posted. All right. Chattadonia. Good to see the real estate questions. But now tomorrow is Friday. I think our Friday Junior might be wrapping up. So, ladies and gentlemen, final questions here at the 45-minute mark. Or we're just shy of the 45-minute mark. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. What we got, man? Anything else? If not, man, you know the vibes, baby. Finger to the sky. I love you, Chad. Futures rallying. Oh, we should have traded it. Should we do it? Should we hit one before we go? Damn, they're up a quarter. What if we short them? You guys want to short a MNQ, or do we go for the breakout? $1 million, where am I putting it? Real estate? No, breakout. Take it. Short it. Breakout. Short it. Don't short it. Go long. Dang, y'all really on team go long. What's the other one? I don't know. It's already up a quarter. Nah, we'll save it. We'll save the hype NQ. Just watch it. I don't know. It's already up a quarter. I want to get the MNQ, but I'm like, because last time we did it, it wasn't even moving. Like, remember, it was just like pinned. So we'll see. I mean, ISM and consumer sentiment, both of those will be the big ones tomorrow. Other than that, literally, after 10 a.m. Eastern, we are going to be focusing firmly on all the job stuff for next week. And then riding on the golden path. Actually, I got a play we could do for tomorrow. I got one. I think it's ZB. Bonds. Oh, they already went up. What was that from? I say we go bonds and then we even play just any of the data and consumer sentiment. But it might get clobber there. What was this? What time was that? At 5? The hell happened at 5? Well, all right, I went with 2 ZBs. I have 3 total now. We'll flip out of those in the morning. Let's see what happens. I love you. God bless you. Finger to the sky. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. That is all. That is all, man. That is all. So I'll see you guys in the AM. Have a wonderful evening. Finger to the sky. And peace out, Chatadonia. Yeah, horn.